On October 14th, 1962, a United States Air Force U-2 spy plane zoomed to extreme altitudes and, using its high-tech camera, took pictures of a USSR-backed Cuba. Later, on October 16th, 1962, these images were identified and confirmed to show that Soviet Union missiles had been placed in Cuba, marking the beginning of the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis showed that revolution, reaction, and reform are necessary for the benefit and advancement of society. This revolutionary event brought the United States of America, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and the whole world to the brink of nuclear war. As tensions escalated worldwide, citizens reacted with panic, fearing for their lives. The USSR and the US acknowledged the importance of communication, highlighting the vulnerability of society. The crisis also highlighted the necessity for reform in military strategies, treaties, diplomacy, and much more.
The Cold War was a tense geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union over political ideology and competition for power. In Cuba, Fidel Castro rose to power and transformed the country into a communist state. The US attempted to overthrow Castro's rule, viewing a communist state in the Western Hemisphere as a threat to America, as it could lead to close ties with the Soviet Union, its biggest competitor at the time. After the failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion, in which the United States attempted to overthrow Cuba's government, Cuba turned towards the Soviet Union for an ally. Taking advantage of this new alliance, the Soviet Union decided to place its nuclear missiles in Cuba, both to protect their new ally and to gain a strategic position closer to the United States. When the United States discovered these missiles, the 13-day Cuban Missile Crisis had officially begun.
The Cuban Missile Crisis was a revolutionary event sparking reactions from ordinary citizens to major reforms implemented by powerful leaders. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a revolutionary standoff, as it was the closest the world had ever been to a nuclear war. It showed the world how terrifying and dangerous nuclear war was and changed the approach to future conflicts. During the crisis, many reactions, including panic, spread worldwide as citizens feared for their lives and their families. Schools practiced duck and cover drills, aiming to protect students in the event of a potential crisis. Many protested, pleading with the nations for peace and seeking a compromise to end the tense standoff. Many people stockpiled food and materials because if a nuclear war broke out, society could collapse, leading to famine, disease, nuclear winters, and many more disasters. Following the crisis, the whole world saw the necessity of reforms. Both Kennedy and Khrushchev realized the problem in diplomacy and developed a hotline from Moscow to Washington, allowing for direct communications to avoid similar future conflicts. Treaties were also created to limit nuclear weapon testing to ensure the safety of the world.
On October 27, 1962, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy and Soviet Ambassador Anatoly Dobrynin met up secretly in Washington, D.C. to discuss the crisis. They kept the meeting secret to avoid public pressure and appearing weak, allowing them to make an uninfluenced decision while protecting their reputation. After the meeting, it was decided that the United States would remove all of its nuclear missiles placed in Italy and Turkey, and in return, the Soviet Union would remove all of its missiles from Cuba. The Cuban Missile Crisis revealed the dangers and unreliability of diplomacy. After the crisis, both nations found it necessary to establish a hotline between them for faster and more precise transmission of messages, and to prevent accidental nuclear war. During the crisis, the United States and Soviet Union relied largely on telegrams and letters to communicate. Telegrams and letters caused many misunderstandings due to their inconsistency and vagueness. After the hotline was established, the United States and the Soviet Union were able to contact each other faster and clarify intentions. This was a major step in the Cold War diplomacy and greatly weakened the chance of an unintentional nuclear war. When the crisis ended, the United States pledged to the public that it would never invade Cuba, ensuring Fidel Castro's position and Cuba's communist state.
Following the crisis, the Soviet Union increased its nuclear arsenal to avoid being outmaneuvered again. One of the main driving goals of the Cold War was the arms race, a competition between the United States and the Soviet Union to create a superior military and to expand their arsenal of nuclear weapons. This intensified the Cold War and further increased the chance of mutually assured destruction. The Cuban Missile Crisis also showed how dangerous this race was, putting mankind on the brink of self-destruction. It led both sides to realize the dangers of brinkmanship, the act of pushing a situation to the edge of disaster. Emphasis shifted towards controlled arms buildup and diplomatic proxy conflicts instead of confrontation. Faster, more reliable communication systems were soon developed to prevent future misinterpretations. The event also led to the signing of the Limited Test Ban Treaty, a document signed by the Soviet Union, the United States, and the United Kingdom, the nuclear powers of the time. The document banned nuclear testing in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater, allowing only underground testing. The Limited Test Ban Treaty ensured the safety of the world by limiting the spread of dangerous radioactive materials that could harm both the environment and human health. The Cold War persisted after the crisis, but the Cuban Missile Crisis left a lasting influence on it and drastically changed its course.
As a result, we can conclude that the Cuban Missile Crisis was a pivotal and revolutionary event that left an unforgettable mark on history, but could have turned out to be drastically worse. Reactions from global citizens said it all, from schools practicing duck and cover drills, which taught children how to respond in the event of a nuclear attack, to widespread public demonstrations, rallies, and even riots emerging worldwide as people expressed their fear, anger, and desire for peace. As leaders saw this international fear spreading, they acknowledged the need for change and introduced crucial reforms, including the creation of the US-Soviet Union hotline and early nuclear arm control agreements. The hotline allowed direct communication between the leaders, reducing the risk of misunderstandings, while the arms control agreements established limits on nuclear testing and deployment. These reforms helped reduce the risk of miscommunications and set a precedent for diplomacy over destruction. Ultimately, the Cuban Missile Crisis stands as a lasting warning of the dangers of nuclear escalation and a great reminder that cooperation, even between enemies, can prevent large-scale catastrophes. These lessons continue to matter today, reminding the world of the value of restraint and negotiations.